Hi, mathematicians. Are you ready to stretch your math muscles today? I know, I sure am. Today, you are going to need a pencil, like always. You are going to need page 158 out of your packet. It's called More Ant Stories, and you'll see some ants along the top here. You're also going to need your ruler that came in your packet last week. It's your centimeter ruler. Now, if you don't have your centimeter ruler, you might be able to find another ruler around your house. I found this ruler at my house. But for some of the work that you're going to do today, you're going to be estimating. And so if you don't have your ruler, don't worry. You can still do some of your math work today. So don't give up, okay? All right, friends, are you ready to see what our learning target is for today? Dun, dun, dun. I am learning about centimeters and how they relate to other units. Now, I underline that word relate because that's an important kind of way we think about math and numbers. It's a word that it means how we talked about this earlier. How does something compare to another unit? So when we're thinking about centimeters, how can we think about centimeters and compare them to other units that we know? Now, units is what we are using. So for centimeters, that's a unit that we use when we are measuring length or width or distance. And centimeters is different than inches, feet, and yards. So when we think about how centimeters relate, we can think about what we already know about inches, feet, and yards. We know that inches is the smallest unit out of those three units, and we know that there are 12 inches in a foot. Then we also know that the yard is the biggest unit out of those three units, and that there are 3 feet in a yard. Are you starting to remember some of this? Back when we had inchworm rulers. Ooh, that was a tongue twister. Inchworm rulers and giant's feet and teacher's feet. Do you remember some of that work we did together, mathematicians? I sure do. So when we take what we know about those things and how they relate, we know that inches is the smallest and that yards is the biggest. But we can use those units to measure different things. And we talked a lot in second grade about how for some things you might want to use inches to measure. Like if it's a smaller object like a pencil, you might want to use inches to measure this. It'd be a little bit tricky to measure this with a yardstick with those big units like yards. We also know that if we measure the same distance, remember when we measured the distance from one side of our classroom to the other? It took more inches to measure that distance than it took yards. And we talked about because yards are bigger, it takes less of them to get the same distance. So all of this that we know about inches, feet, and yards can help us understand centimeters, decimeters, and meters. So we're going to look a little bit closer at those measurements now. All right, friends, let's go ahead and get started on our worksheet together. Hi, I am a worker army ant. I am 1 centimeter long. So here is the ant. That ant is 1 centimeter. And I went ahead and I drew a line right here that is 1 inch long. So let's compare an inch to a centimeter. Is an inch longer than a centimeter or shorter than a centimeter? You're right, it's longer. So a lot of times on rulers, you'll see one side that has inches and the other side that has centimeters. And the side that has centimeters has a lot more. The numbers go up higher because we can fit more centimeters on that same ruler than inches because they're smaller. Now my 10 army ant friends make a line that is 10 centimeters or 1 decimeter long. So these 10 ants are teaming up. There's 10 of them. 10 centimeters is the same as 1 decimeter. Let's stop and really think about that. 10 centimeters is equal to or the same as 1 decimeter. That's an important thing to remember, because remember we were thinking about how inches, feet, and yards are related. Now we can start to think about how are centimeters and decimeters related. Well, decimeters are longer than centimeters, and there are 10 centimeters in 1 decimeter. I want to share something really kind of interesting. This dec means 10. Just like tri and triangle means 3, or quad and quadrilateral means 4, the dec and decimeter means 10. So if you see that, we call it a prefix in a word somewhere, that might help you to understand what that big word means. So des or dec means 10. So now you are going to go around your kitchen, or really anywhere in your house, and you're going to try to find 4 different things that are a decimeter long. If you still have your ruler from last week, you could even mark on your ruler. You can make a mark at the 10, and that would help you to see where a decimeter fits on your ruler that you had from your packet last week. Now it says use a ruler to help draw a line that is exactly 15 centimeters long. How many army ants could stand on that line? So again, they're trying to get you to be thinking about the relationship of centimeters. Now, if you don't have your ruler, you could use the army ants up above here to try to estimate a line that's 15 centimeters long. All right, down below here it says 100 of my army ant friends would make a line that is 100 centimeters or 1 meter long. Let's take a second to really think about that. 100 centimeters is the same as 1 meter, or 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. So now we're adding to what we know. We know that a meter is longer than centimeters. It's also longer than decimeters. So if we think about that with what we know about inches, feet, and yards, we know that it goes centimeters as the smallest, then decimeters, then meters. And we know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. And now they're asking you to find some things that are 4 different things that are about a meter long. But I want you to be thinking about something because we were talking about the relationship. So what is the relationship? I'm actually going to write right here on my paper between centimeters decimeters and meters. We know that there are 10 centimeters in a decimeter. We know that there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So how many decimeters are in a meter? And is there some sort of pattern that you notice between those 3 things? That's kind of an extra challenge question from me to you. If you think about it and you have something that you would like to share with me, I would love to hear your comments. You can send them to me. Remember to take a picture of this paper and send it to your teacher. We would love to see some of the things you've been measuring around your house. All right, my friends, I will see you on Thursday for our last math video of the year. Can you believe it? Talk to you later.